If we succeed in our dream of changing this world, of leaving to our children and grandchildren an opportunity, a world full of freedom, a world where power, to the extent that it controls your permissions, simply does not exist. If we succeed in that, you must understand that those in power now will have lost, and they will not do so quietly or willingly.
The Future is Now presents, together with Coinsbank, Blockchain Cruise, Mediterranean 2018.
And the power they took from the people will return to the people. And so long as they die, liberty will never perish.
The Blockchain Cruise opened up with a bang. John McAfee and Brock Pierce behind the decks, shaking up the vision of the seas, backed with fellow blockchain innovators. But it was much more than just a party. Heated debates ignited all over the ship, like between Roger Ver of Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin maximalist Tone Vays.
And I wish the BTC camp good luck, but you're on the wrong economic path to bring more economic freedom to the world, because a peer-to-peer electronic store of value, I don't see how it's going to do that, whereas it's very clear how a peer-to-peer electronic cash system does it. So if you want to have your store of value club, go ahead, I'm not going to stop you, but that's not interesting to me.
Were you interested in cryptocurrency as an investment? Or were you looking at cryptocurrency to use in your business, right? So if you are looking at cryptocurrency as something you're gonna hold for the longer term and use it when you have to or use it when you need to, then you have to do a lot of research and decide where you're gonna put your money.
All the coins are fighting each other.
Right.
So what will you think if you are, say, 50 years old and they talk there's a new monetary system and you see all the people fighting each other, which is the best system? Does this anything change?
That's disorder.
But if you have developments which are real use cases for people outside and show them you are free with your money and no government is shutting you down and control you, then we have a big part and a big community, and then we can decide which coin is the best or something like this. But first we have to create.
The prevalent theme was government versus crypto, and nowhere better could you make the perfect platform for such a debate than under the roof of a crypto bank.
People kept using the internet more and more and more, but the value took 15 years to get there, right? So I can see Bitcoin bottoming out real low, altcoins and ICOs going even lower, and then on the way back up, it's gonna be just mostly Bitcoin. These ICOs, you know, they'll be like penny stocks, right?
5 years from now, we will have a totally different world. But to have that, we must abandon every thought of bringing with us the garbage of this current world. The concept of regulation, the concept of government, the concept of force. In the new world, we don't need force. We just need truth. A world with permissionless financial transactions, coupled with a world where we have access to absolute truth, gives us finally, for the first time in human evolution, the possibility of individual freedom. Now, what I just said compared to the price of Bitcoin, the price of Bitcoin.
Exclusive from Miko Matsumura. He's a burner next year.
Future burner, exactly.
Look
at that one. Look at that one. What we do as an industry that's really dumb is we give our private keys to exchanges, but we basically just give up our cryptos to them, right? And they're able to manipulate the market using your money for who knows what, for pump and dump, for market manipulation, whatever they're doing, it's not good.
All these pump and dump sort of schemes are typically run by the Wall Street guys. They're the guys that work for banks, and they're the guys that work for hedge funds. I mean, most of all of that comes from the guys that already do that in the real world. It's the same garbage from Wall Street that is unfortunately shown up here, but it's to be expected. We're an open source community. It's open to everyone, and the future is bright.
And it is now.
You're going to like it, and yeah, the future is now.
Roger Ver, Jorg Molt, John McAfee, Miko Matsumura, Brock Pierce, and Tone Vays. All of this and more in this episode.
Every single government on the planet's control of people using fiat currency. I'm sick of that, and cryptocurrencies that are usable as cash have the ability to strip government's power away from them. Bitcoin Cash is the cryptocurrency that has the ability to bring more freedom to the entire world than any other cryptocurrency in the world, and that's why I'm busy promoting Bitcoin Cash today. I yield the rest of my time to you, Jimmy.
Don't miss the future. The future is now. Created by One Day Productions.
Let's get more in-depth, create ideas, create the tomorrow together here on the Coinsbank Blockchain Cruise. We'll see you tonight. Give it up!
Welcome to the future. We're at the Coinsbank Mediterranean Blockchain Cruise. I'm Miguel Francis-Santiago. This is The Future Is Now, your decentralized documentary that takes you all over the world and brings you the latest on the world of blockchain. Let's see what the cruise in the chain is all about.
So what is Coinsbank? It's a licensed European bank based in Scotland and currently has nearly 500,000 active users as it offers direct transfer of fiat into crypto, live at the current exchange rate for its debit card holders that are able to use this card all over the world. It also runs a merchant banking service for businesses that allows them to accept crypto as payment, currently supporting the top prime cryptocurrencies and fiat currencies, making it a one-stop shop for anyone interested in modern crypto banking and fiat-to-crypto exchange services. The cruise acts as a platform for gathering the like-minded innovators in the world of blockchain. And the cruise agenda is rather innovative as well.
I like cruise ships when the entire boat is rented by people you want to be around. You know, so this is, 1,000 or 2,000 blockchainers trapped on a boat, and, there's no going anywhere.
Right.
And the accommodations on cruise ships are, you're in small rooms, so everybody wants to be out. It creates a really good sort of melting pot that brings everybody together, gets everybody connected with thoughtful conversation, intentional conversation, plus some play, music. I got to DJ a little bit,
And one of the things a blockchain cruise gets in the evening, well, some poker. Yes, crypto poker, but some of the stars of the crypto industry gathering right here on the blockchain cruise. Let's check this out.
As John McAfee points out numerous times during the cruise, the price of crypto is irrelevant to the blockchain tech, yet the crypto industry still has more speculation rather than specific mass use cases. The Poker Night by Clear and Crypto Friends brought a lot of that gaming spirit out on the table with industry stars like Tone Vays, Brock Pierce, Jimmy Song, and many others taking to the tables.
Daria, quick question. Who's going to dominate?
Crypto Friends.
Crypto Friends will dominate. Okay, that's Daria's bet. So what's cool about these kind of events? Like, what are you guys doing this with Clear? What's the point?
We are having fun. We're networking together. We're trying to make profit to each other. Gather proper people from the community and
exactly proper people doing fun things together. I think, hey, that's how business should be done in the new age.
Building smart connections.
Eric, what's the secret to poker?
Oh my God, it's a real mental sport. So it really takes a lot of patience, a lot of skill. It's fascinating to a lot of people because obviously, it falls on the line between what is gambling and what is sport. And obviously bringing this to the showcase on the Crypto Cruise is awesome because obviously we're highlighting what we can do on blockchain with gaming. And I think that gaming is obviously the first use case and industry that will take advantage and utilize blockchain for more enterprise products.
Well, you're sensing weakness, and you're identifying weakness, and then you're exploiting it. Not my cup of tea, but that is the name of this game, I guess. One of the things I was taught by a World Series poker winner, a bracelet holder, who was coaching me on poker for a little while, is he made me sit in a game and play without ever looking at my cards.
And how would you do that?
You're playing the table, not yourself. your cars are irrelevant. It's one of the best lessons, but I wouldn't advise anyone to do that now, especially after I said it.
Much of the industry today is still a gamble, but rest assured, it is a calculated one, with many from crypto world's top brass betting on it as the future of money and fintech.
This is exactly the same principle as lightning, right? Which is, the glass is like the cloud, and what's happening is the center, that's like the earth, and you're connecting through a dielectric. So the dielectric is actually a noble gas that actually illuminates when electrons flow through it. So you're really talking about like a simulation of thunder and lightning. It's very nice. It's very nice. It's a noble gas though. It's very, it's like neon or something.
Now there's a lesson on electricity from Mr. Matsumura.
There you go. It's all beautiful physics. It's all beautiful physics.
Miko Matsumura from the original team of JavaScript, currently a partner at several major crypto funds and the founder of the Evercoin exchange, shares some thought on how to manage your fear during this bear market.
One of the panels that I participated in was really just about fear and pain, right? The thing that we know is we know that the community is feeling both fear and pain. Now, the thing that's great about fear and pain is that fear basically prevents you from being hurt, and pain prevents you from being hurt again, right? So to me, the only thing that is important to do here is, first of all, manage your fear so it doesn't create janky behavior, right? So for example, panic selling. Does panic sell, I'm not saying don't sell, I'm saying don't panic sell. Panic sell is absolutely the wrong thing because people are just taking your money at that point, right? It's like buy low, sell high, right? If you want to sell, do it based on a thesis or logic, right? So, and that's controlling or containing your fear, right? In other words, fear is a way to wake up, right? If there's a tiger in the room and you're not feeling fear, you're a dumbass and you'll probably die. Definitely fear makes you awake to what's real if there's a threat, right? So, but you can't make yourself dysfunctional because of fear, right? So that's the key with fear. With pain actually prevents you from being harmed again. And what I mean by it prevents you from being harmed again is you put your hand on the hot stove, right? You're kind of a dumbass, but the thing about that is that if you do it again, the same way, you're gonna have double pain, which is you're gonna have the pain of burning yourself, and you're gonna have the pain of feeling really stupid that you did the same thing again. So pain is only good if you can actually learn. You can learn your lesson, right? Learn oh, I did it wrong and now I need to do it right. So to me, the cryptocurrency industry is doing a lot of things wrong, and we need to learn and not be dumbasses the next time. So that I think is the key.
John, so the last time we met was about 8 months ago on the last Coinsbank cruise in Phuket.
Yes.
And, since then, lots has happened. The community has been going through that thing you told me about at that time, which is this constant creation of FUD. What do you think? What's their execution plan right now? It seems to be sort of upgraded, speeded up.
Number one, I think you're measuring things based on the price of coins, which is the problem. We're missing the point. What is the blockchain? The blockchain is a record of truth, which is something we've never had before. Because before the blockchain, what's truth? CNN tells one, Fox News tells another, the man on the street tells his. We have to choose. The blockchain provides an absolute record, an immutable, unchangeable record of what actually happened. Let's start there. So, if everything were on the blockchain, imagine what history would have been.
Wow.
Because what is history? History is a record of what the conqueror says happened. It's all garbage. It's nonsense. We have no idea what history truly is. We have records of conquerors, nothing else. If it were all on the blockchain, we would know absolutely, positively what truth was.
The thing that is super important is there's so many people who are really focused on speculation, and they're really looking at all these things that they can't control, right? And they're getting into a panic because they're like, oh, what will the regulator do? Or what will the exchanges do? Or, what will the manipulators do? And they're all focusing on everything except what they can do, right? And to me, like, what every single person can do is they can own their own cryptos. They can have their own private keys, because if you're leaving your cryptos on exchange, you can get hacked, you can get locked out. The other thing is, what happens to fork coins? Do you get those? You don't even know. What happens to airdrops? Do you get those? You don't even know. Hold your own coins. Like, if you hold your own coins, preferably in a hardware wallet, you will be much safer, much happier, and much richer.
What does cryptocurrency give us? It gives us economic freedom, permissionless transactions. I don't need anybody's permission. A world with permissionless financial transactions, coupled with a world where we have access to absolute truth, gives us finally, for the first time in human evolution, the possibility of individual freedom. Now, what I just said compared to the price of Bitcoin, the price of Bitcoin.
Exclusive from Miko Matsumura. He's a burner next year.
Future burner, exactly.
He's
Look
already
at that one.
there.
Look at that one.
He's already a burner. He just hasn't been there, but he will.
There you go. I was like, yeah, I haven't been to a burn, but it doesn't mean that I don't recognize the light source that's pouring out of all the burners people's eyes when they come back. Like, they come back and they're all lit up, and you're like, oh yeah, I know what that is. I know what that is. They're all lit up.
Some energy
right?
transfusion.
That's what it is. You're just looking at them and you're like, oh, that's the stuff right there.
The Coinsbank cruise celebrated the future of the industry with a pumping, thumping party where John McAfee and Brock Pierce shook the dance floor.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think we're going to have Brock Pierce and John McAfee behind the decks for a bit for a special treat at the Blockchain Cruise. Get it out! Hey, nobody wants to listen to me. Play some music, Brock.
Agree to this event, clear the way for human progress. Take up men with us and dictate the sky. And the power they took from the people will return to the people. And so long as they die, liberty will never perish. Soldiers, don't be yourselves the brutes. Men who despise you and slay you, who regiment your lives, tell you what to do, what to think, and what to feel, who drill you, diet you, treat you like cattle, use you as cannon fodder. Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men.
Yet the price was still a very concerning thing on many people's minds. We had to point out the constant pumps and dumps that we believe some large manipulators are using to play with your mind in the crypto market.
Big players right now, it seems. There's been a few manipulators.
Oh, of
There's a lot
course.
of talk about
That's super dangerous.
Some major manipulators that do this sort of quick 500 up or a quick 500 drop.
Yeah.
And, they are obviously playing with the public's, again, staked
No
to
question.
see who's going to fall for it, who's going to help them get those shorts or get those longs out. So what do you think?
If there is a tiger in the room, then we should be fearful, right? So those are the big cats, right? Like, those are the people that are actually playing with us, right? So if we're the kind of retail investors, then those are the animals that are like toying with us. They're like batting us around. They're like, oh, you want like 6,500? Okay, now you want like 5,000? Oh, you want 7,500? Like, they're just knocking us around the room, right? We're dumb to play that game, right? So in some sense, like, one of the games that you can play is you can kind of play like a hodl game, or you can ride with them. You can play limit order game, right? So there's a couple of different mechanics that you can use that'll kind of like offset the power of these manipulators, because the manipulators are there, right?
All these pump and dump sort of schemes are typically run by the Wall Street guys. They're the guys that work for banks, and they're the guys that work for hedge funds. I mean, most of all of that comes from the guys that already do that in the real world. It's the same garbage from Wall Street that is unfortunately shown up here, but it's to be expected. We're an open source community. It's open to everyone. You know, I expect Wall Street to show up with their bad practices.
The other thing that I think is kind of an overly concentrated source of manipulation is really this kind of centralized custodial exchange model, right? So what we do as an industry that's really dumb is we give our private keys to exchanges, and we basically just give up our cryptos to them, right? And they're able to manipulate the market using your money, right? They're like a bank, which we try to get rid of, and yet we're inviting them back and saying, oh, please be our bank. They're largely unregulated, and they don't pay you interest. They just take your money, and they're using your money for who knows what, for pump and dump, for market manipulation, whatever they're doing, it's not good, and you're not benefiting. So to me, you know, get your private key, you know, store your own cryptos, hold your own cryptos, don't give the cryptos to an exchange, you know, get a hardware wallet if you can afford it. You know, if you're protecting any reasonable amount of crypto, you can probably afford very simple hardware wallet. You can basically like hold your own.
I don't think Ethereum as a technology is sustainable. So if you do have an ICO on top of Ethereum, I really hope you have, you're backing up your own data. At least run your own Ethereum node if that's possible. And you gotta have the history of every transaction of your own ICO. Because I think people have gotten over dependent on the fact that they think Ethereum will be with us forever, when in reality Ethereum is not scalable and they don't even know how they're going to implement the scaling solutions that they have. Look how hard Bitcoin struggled to get SegWit, and that was a no-brainer. That was an obvious scaling solution that works. Ethereum scaling solutions are all theoretical, and they would need to convert proof of work to proof of stake somehow to even attempt to get them in. I know a lot of people want to migrate to like EOS and others, but they're going to be no different. I mean, EOS functions great when no one's using it. Let's see what happens when there's CryptoKitties on it, you know?
Bitcoin maximalist Tone Vays, who is also an ex-VP of JP Morgan and a long-time Wall Street trader, from day one of his Bitcoin dive has been extremely critical of the ICO phenomena. As the blockchain cruise advanced through September 2018, it was obvious Ethereum had serious issues that prevented projects from scaling, while unfortunately fueling a bunch of outright scams. The overall Bitcoin dominant versus altcoin inferior theme seemed to be the main topic of discussion throughout the cruise.
Because when Jordan Belfort and his company had the ability to take companies public, what they were doing was they were setting the initial sales price and they were giving preferential treatment to their friends to buy into those IPOs before those IPOs went public. And again, think about what is happening in the ICO space, right? There's a pre-ICO, then there's a pre-ICO, right? So the connected people, the insider people, they're getting those shares first, and then they're selling them to you on the open market once it goes to on one of the exchanges like Binance or Bittrex, right? And that was it. So if next time you rewatch the movie Wolf of Wall Street, just keep an eye on the fact that that is exactly what they were doing.
As Roger Ver was sending me BCH for the first time, getting me acquainted with the hard fork of Bitcoin and his very own cryptocurrency that many people from the world of Bitcoin like Jimmy Song and Tone Vays were extremely skeptical towards, I couldn't help but feel the extremely fast transaction time and the possibilities that may come with it. And after all, Roger Ver was almost furiously promoting BCH in a way that was hard to pass by.
He said Bitcoin Cash is fiat. Well, the definition of fiat is money by decree. And the very, very essence of cryptocurrencies is that nobody is forcing anybody to use them. If you don't like BTC, don't use it. If you don't like BCH, don't use it. If you don't like Monero Dash, Zcoin, Zcash, Take or Fake, if you don't like them, don't use them. That's the very opposite of fiat, because the fiat with dollars and euros and yen, the government say you have to use our money, you have to pay us taxes in those money, and if you don't, we'll lock you in a cage. That's what fiat is. Cryptocurrencies in general across the world. And it's because they have the ability to undermine every single government on the planet's control of people using fiat currency. being forced to pay for wars all over the world, paying for locking people in jail for smoking a plant that makes them feel happy, or having a white powder that makes them feel happy. I am sick of that, and cryptocurrencies that are usable as cash have the ability to strip government's power away from them. Bitcoin Cash is the cryptocurrency that has the ability to bring more freedom to the entire world than any other cryptocurrency in the world, and that's why I'm busy promoting Bitcoin Cash today. I yield the rest of my time to you, Jimmy.
Everyone was ready to take a break with a trip to one of the stops during the cruise, which was Monaco, an offshore zone with some major casino action, lots of exquisite cars, and very weird restaurant staff. Here we met with Jorg Molt, a man who claims to be one of the founders of Bitcoin. However vague that statement is, perhaps doesn't detract from the fact that he did work in blockchain-based data systems back in the day, and he does really see a middle ground between altcoins and Bitcoin.
Now, you as the founder of Satoshi School and one of the co-founders of Bitcoin, and how did that work? So that means you were somehow in contact with the original team? Do you know who Satoshi is? Is that it?
I don't know who is Satoshi. No one knows yet, but what we know for sure, he comes somewhere from Canada, and he must be in the age of 45, 46 like me.
Jorg, so the idea behind Bitcoin was truly to create a decentralized means of transferring value with no means of manipulation or control, right?
Yeah, that's the one reason, and the second reason is to store your data in a way of ownership that no one can take out the ownership of your data.
What happened when all the altcoins came? What was your feeling?
The problem was that Bitcoin always was used as cash, but always was used by traders and the whole entire networks of making money and something like this. Ethereum was created to have this tokens, and Ethereum is a token, it's not a coin. To make something you can do like in a stock market. You have papers and you get a paper, but in a normal digital way you don't get a paper, right? So you get a token instead of a paper.
Right.
But then it figured out that governments get attracted in this way because it's a centralized system which has a decentralized computer code base. And then all the altcoins come in and the business was rushing in, but it stands like it is by a business. So think about most of the altcoins. You can't buy anything with.
Let's talk about Bitcoin Cash. What's your view on Bitcoin Cash? What is, to you, what is the point of Bitcoin Cash?
For me, Bitcoin Cash, I call it Bcash, is nothing but an attraction of a new coin which has some similar philosophy like Bitcoin behind. But there is no use case for the people outside because we're always talking disrupt the banks. But what we have example, we have our Bcash and Bitcoins in Coinbase. Coinbase is nothing else than another word for a bank. Without mass adoption, Bitcoin will last standing in the door because it has the largest followership, yeah. But if you have developments which are real use cases for people outside and show them you are free with your money and no government is shutting you down and control you, then we have a big part and a big community, and then we can decide which coin is the best or something like this. But first we have to create.
As the cruise was coming to an end, one could only feel a nostalgic feeling of hope and a better glimpse into tomorrow, brought together by the organizers of the blockchain cruise to truly bring people together in a new and exciting way that allowed you to network on a whole different scale.
So why not start with access to the truth, permissionless transactions, and say what is happening? We are winning.
We are.
Every new adherent to cryptocurrency is a new person that has the opportunity to free themselves. This is what we need to focus on, not the trivial day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month ups and downs. No. need to focus on the deeper issues. And if we do that, then everything is perfect.
The two ways that this whole thing turns around are that the industry starts shipping real products that make a difference in real people's lives, that produce real revenues, that's one. And the other side of it is that we stop kind of really acting like dumbasses. So we keep throwing ether to scams. We keep doing things like throwing our private keys into exchanges. Like, so if we stop doing kind of stupid things and then we start doing smart things, we'll actually see the thing turn around. It's been an incredibly good lineup, and the lineup of speakers is really almost focused around things like Bitcoin. So you have like Roger Ver Bitcoin Cash and Bobby Lee, who's sort of a Bitcoin Foundation. You have like Charlie Lee, no relation, Litecoin, and so all of which are Bitcoin forks, right? So the theme or vibe here is very Bitcoinish. It's not very like Etherish, and it's certainly not like ICO-ish, which I really appreciate actually, because it's getting the community together around the fundamentals, around the real base coins that are actually holding up the whole ecosystem. So, to me, I'm a Satoshi fan, so Bitcoin and Bitcoin's children, very powerful.
5 years from now, we will have a totally different world. But to have that, we must abandon every thought of bringing with us the garbage of this current world. We have to abandon every concept, the concept of regulation, the concept of government, the concept of force. And don't judge people based on their beliefs, because if you do, you have no use in the society. Because there will never be a person, an entity, an agency ever who believes exactly like you. This is the beauty of life. Accept that beauty and embrace everything. All right?
Thank you for the message.
The next Coinsbank cruise is already in the works that will take off from the same spot in Barcelona and travel this time to Mallorca, Marseille, La Spezia, and end with Rome. June 9th to the 13th. Check it out on Coinsbank.com and stay tuned to the Future Is Now documentary film series on the progress of blockchain technologies in shaping a different tomorrow. I'm Miguel Francis-Santiago, and I wish you a happy 2019. But hold on, it might be a bumpy ride.